Welcome back then, and today as you can see we're going to be racing our first ever competition server race on Assetto Corsa, and we're going to be on the PS4 today. Hopefully the PC is coming soon and we'll be able to get some content on there, but for now we're just really working on the PS4, trying to get used to it all before we get onto the PC, and all them kind of games on there are going to be very similar to Assetto Corsa. iRacing, R-Factor 2, all very similar. We will probably be getting a Assetto Corsa Competizione on PC as well, so it's all good practice. So I wasn't too familiar with what was going on in the competition serves. I know that it's a longer race, it's qualifying, and so I've just registered, just got in, and we're in the free practice now. This was the first time that day that I'd actually been driving on the game, so I had to really get up to pace, get up to speed really quickly. And as you can see, that wasn't going too well for me, as I'd already invalidated the lap, and then I've spun off in free practice. So the practice is literally just to allow 5 minutes for everyone to join, and then we're straight into qualifying. I've got limited fuel. I think it's just enough fuel for the session of 10 minutes. So we're going to get out of the pits once these few people have gone past, and we're going to be following Yo-Yo there, out of the pit lane. We're at the Nürburgring today. I think it has been updated recently, because it does say Nürburgring 2020. Obviously the update coming to the PS4 for 2020, I think some new liveries, and like I said, I think some track updates. That's only been there very recently. And we've carried on what we were doing in free practice, lap invalidation after lap invalidation. Really I was looking to try and set a nice banker early on, but that just never came, and with 1 minute 20 left in qualifying, we still hadn't set a lap time. We're down in 16th, and so this was our last chance. This was only going to be the only run we had at it basically now, and so this was practically going to be our banker lap, even though we should have already set that nice and early on. We had some good pace on the previous laps, and we'd got up to speed fairly quickly. I'm quite comfortable in this car. It's the car James Baldwin uses from McLaren, and as we've got a car on our right hand side, that puts us off a little bit coming into there. It's surprising how slow you have to go through there at times before the car starts turning on you. But like I say, it's at 16th at the moment, in last position with 30 seconds or so left of qualifying. One thing I had learnt on the early laps is to really avoid the curbs here. On Assetto Corsa, generally you have to avoid the curbs. They're much harsher and much more realistic than GT Sport, but especially around here it's very tricky, especially with the elevation change. As you're going to see once we've gone through the hairpin, as we come up towards the Schumacher S in a second, you're going to see hitting this curb can cause you real problems. It really unsettles the car. We catch it a little bit and we have to catch the car the other way to stop it sliding. And as you can see, so check the flags out now, so we're not going to get another chance. And it's been quite clean up to now. This was a corner where I had a few invalidations early on, so I kept it nice and tight away from the curbs there. And now it was just a case of getting to the line, because I knew some people had either set really slow banker laps, and so even though this wasn't going to be the quickest of laps, it was still going to definitely move me up the field a bit. I'm really liking that chicane there. I never knew that that was a GT layout until I had come to Assetto Corsa. I'll be running a bit deep here into the final corner, but we've not spun. There's a yellow flag out, I assume because somebody stopped ahead. And we crossed the line and we actually go 6th. So we've moved up 10 places there in the last lap, thankfully. And it wasn't even a particularly quick lap. But there you go, we actually ended up in 7th after somebody else had crossed the line after us. But quite happy to take that. So like I say, because I hadn't had any experience, I did know that in this race you didn't have to make a pit stop. So I was wondering, as you can see there, I ended up putting enough fuel in for the entire race, but I was wondering whether anybody else was going to be doing that, or we were going to try and underfuel the car and then make a pit stop. So as we sat on the grid, you do get a full warm-up lap on the competition servers. As you can see, we do have a manual clutch as well, so we didn't want to stall it. We get a bit of a slow getaway, but then it's just all about warming the tyres up for the lap before the start of the race. As you can see, just staying in single file it says. And then as we're coming down the back straight, just getting it all nice and warmed up, and then it's going to tell us to get side by side, ready for the standard race start we're used to by now. As everyone's going to start bunching up, the tyres are warm, the brakes are warm, and we're ready to get into this. So our main aim for this race really was just to keep it on the track. We weren't expecting to get any proper result from this. We were just, like I said, trying to finish the race, trying to get a bit more experience. As you can see, our safety rating was literally just high enough to enter these competition servers for the first time on 70s. Hopefully that'll be going up throughout the race as well. As we're rounding the final corner, getting ready for race start. Just trying to prepare ourselves. 45-minute race, it's the longest race I've certainly done on this game. Just trying to hold speed. Didn't want to pick up any silly penalties, we're not trying to push that speed limit there. And then we get going. We get a bit of a slow reaction there. You see the cars ahead and the cars behind starting to bunch up to me. But one thing I was really surprised about in this lobby as we go down into turn 1 is how respectful everyone is on here compared to the normal public lobbies. You can see everyone's really cautious going through. We were actually 3 wide for a second there, as I think the Ferrari drops back. And as you see here, me and this other guy side by side, we've both given each other enough room. And I'm trying to go defensive then, not wanting to lose any moves there. Like I say, it's very deceptive that corner, how slow in you have to go to get a good exit out of here. Unlike on GT Sport, you can't really run wide there, otherwise you will get a track warning if you gain a time advantage. And we're on the back of Jack here in the Ferrari. Quite nice livery, I must say. And like I said, these early laps, just wanted to keep it clean and nothing silly. For some reason, my position hasn't updated yet, it's updated now. And again, especially later on, you'll see even that hairpin, very deceptive on this game, how early you have to brake and the force you have to put through brakes as well to get it stopped. And we actually nail the Schumacher S there, first time we go through it. As you can see, a nice gap now to behind, 0.8 of a second. Anyway there, kind of a second or so, it's absolutely fine. Jack gets all wrong in front of us, but it does get back on. Quite lucky there that it's a runoff, so you're not punished too heavily, whereas if that was the gravel track or grass, that could have been a different story on the opening lap here. Like I say, 45 minutes, long race, a lot of things are going to be happening. So at this point in time, we just don't want to be making any mistakes. Now we get slightly put off there by Jack, he's braked quite late and gone flying off. And we then followed him pretty much onto the opposite side. As we've caught the second curve, needed to caught the first curve. And we're both off, we're now side by side, we've lost a few places going down the front straight now. Still side by side, trying to fight this position, but I think it's going to have gone. As we come down into braking zone, we're still going to leave it there, just in case he makes a mistake. But out wide here, we're never going to have a line. And we get back in the train that's forming here. Like I say, 9th is not bad at all. I know we started 7th, I believe. But like I say, first ever race, we just wanted to keep it nice and clean, keep it on track now. That curb on the inside there again unsettles the car quite a lot if you kind of half-heart it. You either have to take a lot of curb and miss the curb completely. There's a few battles going on up ahead with Jack and then Aragon I think above, just ahead of this car in front of us. As like I said, it's all very bunched up at the moment. The car in front of us brakes really early for some reason, so we go to a side to avoid him and we then get hit from behind. I don't feel like I cut back on him. I think he must have outbroke himself as well and just carried on flying into us, and that's not what we wanted. But we're still in 12th. The race isn't over yet. There's plenty of time left. As we skip a little bit ahead, as we go up into 11th, for someone's out wide there. That very nearly happened to us on the opening lap, I believe. And so we kind of caught up back to the train we were in anyway. We're just at the back of the train now. On the back of this Sergio here. And this was one of the scariest moments in the game so far. Still looking back, I can't believe how I missed him. If you slow it down or screenshot it, you'll see how close I was to hitting him on the radar, and how lucky I was that, one, there was no one at the side of me, but also that I managed to run off the track and not spin, get it back on the track for the braking zone. So it was quite a hectic start to this first race, and not what I was expecting, not what I was hoping for. I was hoping for a nice clean race to start with, but a lot of drama early on. So we're still on the back of that train. We ran a little bit deep, like I was saying earlier. Very deceptive, that corner. How early you need to be braking compared to GT Sport and stuff, which is where I've come from. And we then come back on the track and we can go through the Schumacher crest. We've just backed out a little bit early there to let that Devil 316 guy through, just because you don't really want to go side by side through there. It's not going to help you or the driver. But once again, we're at the back of the train, anything can happen, and as we say that, 2 cars have gone off at the first corner, and we're now back up into 10th, still on the back of that train. I think the leaders have created a bit of a gap, as you can see on the map there. We're in this kind of mid-pack, and still pushing on. We don't need to be going for any crazy overtakes at this point, just keep it nice and clean. As you can see, Aragon or Argon made a big mistake through Schumacher S, and there's another car off ahead, that Cole's there. And like I say, so if you can just keep consistency in these lobbies, you will be getting some incredible results. Obviously the higher you get with your CP score, and the better the lobbies you're in, the better the split. Of course it's going to get more about pace, everyone's going to be a bit more consistent. But like I say, I'd only jumped on about 10 minutes before this race. I hadn't done any practice until I got into the actual lobby. But I was quite impressed by this. I was just trying to keep it consistent, kind of learning where I could push the car and where I couldn't. I seem to be quite good on the brakes down into here, getting a bit of a better line up the inside. Going to have to cut really, really back. The Ferrari behind me nearly goes in the back of me. I'm going to try and hold it around the outside, and the car does give me enough room. Obviously my line is not really helping me there, going wide. And he's then going to come back up the inside. He runs a bit deep and we have to go a bit deep as well. And then the Ferrari's going to have a look on the outside of his ear. Thankfully he backs off there. So we're now going to be going side by side. We've not lost position just yet. But again, unless we can hold it around the outside here, it's always going to be tricky for us. So we lose another position. Thankfully we've got the inside before we lose another position on top of that. It's been quite yo-yo-y so far in this race. Been making progress and been falling back. But we're still in 10th, started 7th. You can still see that train just ahead of us. So we're not in a bad position with 23 minutes to go. Skip a bit further ahead, we're going to look for a move on Sergio ahead. Again, getting pushed a bit wide, but that means we're going to get the cut back and we're going to have a good run on him. Coming up to the Schumacher S. But the same as last time, we're just going to back out. There's no need to go side by side through there, it's just going to cause problems. Catching the curbs on the inside, that's something we've got to be wary of, because it really doesn't set up the car and always pulls you towards the left-hander when you want to be going to the right. The Ferrari head runs a bit wide, but again, they're quite lucky there in the centre as a run-off, and they're not losing anything there. So as you can see, up in the top left, a few people have left, and our lap times are starting to come down. Obviously not on this lap when we're battling. And again, this time we get it a bit better. We've done the exact same thing as the opening lap. We've been put off by the car ahead, followed him into the corner, hit the big like kind of mini sausage curbs there, got sent flying off to the left hand side. This time we don't go quite as far wide, but we do hold on to the position, although Ferrari now is looking for a move, but he backs off. I thought he was still there at the time, so I gave him a lot of room on the inside here. Again, I might start making a series of every single race I do on the competition server, just to see kind of progress as a driver as well. Because in this first race I'm just trying to be careful, to be honest. I run very deep there, trying to be defensive, but he doesn't really make a lot out of that. And then he does get the cut back on me. Quite patient driving from him. He could be in the same boat as me. one of his first races on the server potentially. But a great move by him, and then same as earlier, another car's going to follow him through. I ran deep to avoid him, and then thankfully we block off Sergio's back behind us again. And again, yo-yoing around. We're in 11th now, so losing a few places. As again that corner catches that, and now the Ferrari's going to be back up the inside of us, and we're going to be back into 12th. So we skip a bit further ahead. That Aragon from way earlier in the race, who I thought had disappeared off, we're just going to easily go past him because he makes a mistake. Again, Ferrari and us at the hairpin, like I'd done earlier in the race, runs deep in another place. This is what I mean. If you can get consistency in these races and not making silly little mistakes, it will go a long, long way. So towards the end of the race now, at this point, the tyres were starting to wear. I was still being able to put better lap times in up the top left just because there weren't as many cars around to fight with. And also my confidence was growing in the car, but as far as the tyres were concerned, they were definitely going off. As you can see, literally proving my point there, as Jack there in the Ferrari goes spinning off, and we've got another car off, and we're now back into 7th. That's how quickly these races can change. But then I've gone and absolutely bottled it. Like I said earlier in the race, that corner is so deceptive, and on the tyres which are worn, as I just try and get out of the way as quickly as possible there, I do end up hitting the wall, but much better to do that than be laying on the racing line in the way of everyone. Like I said, with tyres going off, deceptive how quickly you can go in there. I've put a little bit too much lock on, and it's resulted in me spinning when I was in 7th, and I'm now back down 12th. Like I say, yo-yo kind of race. As we almost kind of forced the driver into an error there, just running a bit deep. And we've now got a lot of open air. We're in 11th, like I say, 17 started the race. We're only 4 positions behind where we started, and we did actually have the pace in this race. We just didn't quite have the consistency, got caught in a few little battles, having a few little troubles. There's 5 minutes to go. You can see we're back onto this kind of mini train. Once again, the same car's been racing with all race long, as Jack again gets it sideways coming out of there, and we take the move back into 10th again. 5 minutes to go. Can we chase down Sergio? Just being careful with the tyres now, like I say, as he makes a little bit of a mistake, I thought, maybe through the chicane there, which has been catching him out today. And like I say, when we get pushing, we have got some good pace. It's just trying to get into a rhythm and stay in there. And like I've been saying all day long, what I thought was going to catch us out, to be honest, even from qualifying, I thought it might in a race, especially over 45 minutes, as we just wait there to come back on the track. The curbs here, especially through there, it's just caught us out. It's unsettled the car. We've hit the first one, it's come bouncing back down. We already had a bit of lock on the wheel, and it's just literally turned us. So as we're coming towards the end of the race, we're now just kind of driving around on our own. But at least we're finishing the race. We're in 12th. It was 17 to start with. I'll take that for the first race. A lot of experience gained. Nobody made pit stops, so they're all on the same strategy as me. And as the race is over, we're just on our final lap. The leader's finished though. In 12th, we've got sight of the car ahead, but unless he makes mistakes, not really going to be any chance to overtake him now. And again, tyres are drifting through the Schumacher-S. Absolutely drifting through there, so I think that's an area we need to improve on. One, the consistency in general, but also dealing with tyre wear. I think the decisions we made throughout the race were good. We gave everyone a nice amount of room. There was some really good clean racing. I really enjoyed these competition servers so far. Another good point is my safety's gone up loads. I think my control's gone up quite a bit as well since the start of the race, as I had been just racing with AI before to get my safety up. And as we come around the final corner, we're going to finish 12th out of 17 officially in our first ever competition server race. Thank you all very much for watching. I will definitely be doing a series of these, as I really enjoyed this hobby in this race today, and I'll see you all soon.